大家好，欢迎收看天天话题加拿大版风华资讯，我是主持人吴景。提起雅思考试啊，我相信呢，观众朋友一定不陌生啊。如果您是来自一个英语非母语的国家，想去呢这个英语类的国家，不管是学习也好，工作也好，甚至是移民，雅思考试成绩呢，可能都是一个非常重要的一个考量的环节。那么今天在现场，我们就为您请来了英国文化协会雅思官方卑诗省的负责人 Alex Jerusalimsky 先生上我们的节目呢，给我们来详细的分享一下这个雅思考试的注意事项。Alex, welcome to our show.
Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to ask you, maybe we start with, what is IELTS test?
IELTS is an English language proficiency test, which tests the four main skills of language. That would be English, so listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And it is the world's most recognized English language test. I believe currently it's recognized by around 11,000 institutions
Wow, that's
around the world.
Really big number. Yeah.
Universities, colleges, the immigration departments of the United Kingdom, Canada, the USA, Australia, and New Zealand. As well as professional organizations for doctors, physios, pharmacists, dentists. A lot of professions will recognize IELTS for an applicant's measure of English language ability.
Okay, so I'll just do your English
Sure,
part,
yeah.
very brief into Chinese. 那刚才呢 ，Alex 呢，他是有给我们大概的介绍一下，说什么是这个雅思考试啊？雅思考试现在在全球范围内呢，是被广泛的认可，认为是一种就是测试你这个英语的程度的。他刚才有介绍到这个雅思考试呢，有分这个听说读写。那么目前在全球像是英国呀、加拿大呀、美国澳大利亚、新西兰这些说英语的国家呢，他认为是有超过这个11000个不同的，不单单是这个政府部门，还有很多像是学校啊、一些机构啊，都是认可这个成绩的，所以是一个非常一个棒的一个能够证明你的英语这个水平到底在哪里。All right, so we talk about what IELTS exam is, and I think I would like to know, so why do I need to take the IELTS exams if I'm, applying for a job or get a training or go to a school? Why do I need this?
Well, let's say, for example, you're applying to a university in Canada. You want to come to maybe the University of British Columbia, which is, it's known internationally. The language of instruction is going to be English. And, in order to succeed in your studies, you're going to need to be able to participate in the courses, and also, understand what the material is. So universities will ask for proof of English language ability when you're applying. And the same if you're emigrating to a country. In Canada, the two official languages are English and French.
Yes.
Here on the West Coast, it's predominantly English. So again, if you want to succeed in one of these English-speaking countries, proof of English language ability or proficiency is required, and it's really designed to help you succeed, either at the university or the college that you're applying to, or the country that you might be emigrating to, or both, or the work, your profession, if you're going to be working in one of those fields in English. So it's really like your passport to entering English-speaking world.
Yes. Yeah. 那刚才呢 ，Alex 也有跟我们分享说，那其实你为什么要参加这个雅思考试？他有提了，就是举了2个例子，比方说像我们观众朋友很了解的，如果你要是去这个加拿大，我们温哥华很知名的这个UBC 大学，如果你想申请呢去大学念书的话，那么雅思考试的这个成绩呢是被大学认为就是它是不是接收你的一个英语水平的一个非常官方的测试。所以说，如果你可以拿到一个比较好的雅思考试的成绩的话， 法，也许呢你到大学申请的时候就可以拿到一个你自己比较想上的一个专业。另外他有提到说，其实我们加拿大也是一个移民的国家，那很多人可能是来自这个英语非母语的国家，那你想要移民来加拿大的时候，那么雅思成绩也是作为一个官方的考量，因为加拿大英语和法语呢是官方语言，像是我们生活在这个西岸地区的话，当然就主要是说英文了。所以你如果说雅思考试呢成绩好可以证明那么你来不管是来学习也好，或者是移民也好呢，可能就是有一个非常好的通往这个成功的一个像是一个钥匙了一样我觉得他说的这一点呢是非常好的。All right, so maybe let's go now, because you mentioned about the IELTS tests have like 4 elements: listening, hearing, writing. So maybe give us a little bit of detail on, why are these 4 elements, and in order for the applicants, the people taking the exam, how are they going to pursue those, having a higher score?
So, as I mentioned, so you have listening and reading, writing and speaking, and this is really to test 2 different parts of language. The listening and the reading test is designed to measure the comprehension skills of the student or the test taker. So, that would be what the student is understanding in English. And then the writing and the speaking is for the productive skills of language. So, how is the student or the test taker able to communicate and to produce English language and to communicate their thoughts or what they intend or what they mean. The listening component is 40 questions, so it's a comprehension based test. The reading is also 40 questions, takes about an hour. Well, it takes 1 hour actually.
Each take about an hour?
The listening is actually a little bit shorter. The listening test is about 40 minutes.
Okay.
The reading test is 1 hour.
Yes.
The writing test, so now we're moving on to the productive or the skills for producing language. The writing test is 1 hour, and there are 2 tasks as part of the writing test. And then the speaking test, which is with a trained examiner, so it's not, it's not talking into a computer or anything like that. It's actually face to face.
So you have to be like in person.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is that speaking test is about just under 15 minutes. It's, they have a range. It can be between 11 and 14 minutes.
Oh, okay. So that's quite complicated,
Well, it's a very comprehensive
Yes.
test. It really covers all of the aspects of language. It's not a basic test, which means it has a lot of value to the organizations that we mentioned, and the universities and the colleges and the immigration departments. They really trust this test because it is so comprehensive.
Yes.
I mean, the
evaluate so many different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So Alex 刚才有跟我们具体的说下，因为他刚才有提到说这个考试呢，包括这个4个方面听说读写。他说其实呢，这个是一个非常完整的测试你对这个英文的这个全面的掌握能力。他举了个例子，比方说你要是参加这个听和读呢，它主要是考你这个对英语的这个理解的能力。但是到写呢，还有就是说的话呢，其实就是一个对语言的对英文的一个使用了。另外他刚才有提到这个其实不同的这个考试这个4个部分呢，它这个时长是不一样的，有些是40分钟，有些是1个小时。当然呢，就是到最后他提到说这个说的话，这个不是说你对着一个电脑去来评估你这个说的这个能力有多少。那么在说的这个部分呢，你是要跟这个考官呢要是面对面的一个交流的。所以说这个考试它为什么能够在全球有这么多的一个机构呢？它可以得到一个认可，就是因为它对于这个考生各方面英文各个方面听说读写的这个能力，它的测试是非常的全面。如果你这个分数好的话呢，也可以让这个不管是你要去工作的机构也好，上学的学校也好，甚至是这个移民部门，它都是有一个非常好的一个正门。 I think we'll take a short break, then coming back then to the second part, we'll maybe talk a little bit more on how to get ready to prepare for the exam and how quick you're able to get a high score. 好，那我们现在稍微休息一下，稍后回来带观众朋友来了解更多呢有关雅思考试的详细情况。大家好，欢迎回到天天话题加拿大版风华资讯的现场，我是主持人吴景。刚才上半场呢，我们很荣幸为您请来了英国文化协会雅思官方卑诗省的负责人 Alex Jerusalemski。那么他刚才呢给我们做了一个非常详细的分析。So Alex, I want to continue to ask you. We often heard about IELTS exam have this academic and general training. So what's the difference between these two?
Very good question. Essentially, the academic version is designed and is used for test takers and students that are applying to universities, colleges, and also for professional registration with for certain types of employment.
For instance, like doctors.
Exactly, doctors, physios, dentists, pharmacists. The academic version is I would say it's a little bit more challenging, particularly the reading and the writing tests. The listening and the speaking tests are actually exactly the same as the general version. There's no difference. But the reading test and the writing tests, the actual questions are different. The types of questions are different as well. So the general training test is used for immigration purposes. So the reading and the writing components, the types of questions might be a little bit more basic, whereas with the academic version, they might be a bit more technical and academic orientated.
那 Alex 刚才呢有给我们分析了一下，就是说这个雅思考试它是主要呢，它有分成两大类，一类呢是学术类的。那么学术类的话，主要是比方说你要想去念大学呀，或者是要去一些专业的机构，比方你要是医生啊，这样就是需要有些专业资格的，那他需要参加呢这个学术类的考试。那另外的一种呢，就是说是一个培训类的。那培训类它现在主要使用的范围呢，就是移民了。那这两者的最大的区别是什么？就是说你在考试的时候，那么读和写的话，如果是学术类，它的这个难度系数会高一点，但是听和说呢，基本上来讲呢，和这个培训类的是一样的。All right, so I also heard about when you're taking the test, you can choose paper-based or computer-generalized. So which one is better?
Good question. There are some key differences between these two different ways of taking IELTS. So the paper-based version, well, that's what it used to be known as. Recently, it's actually known now as IELTS on paper, but it's the same thing. Is a traditional on paper exam.
So you are giving a pen?
Pen and paper, or
paper,
pencil and paper. And whereas the IELTS on computer, what was formerly known as computer delivered, is you take the listening, reading, and writing components on a computer. The speaking test is still the same.
So speaking is still in person. You're not talking to a computer.
You got it, exactly. And this actually comes back to a few years ago when IELTS were conducting a lot of surveys and from previous test takers to try and improve the test. And it was just, it was found that there was a lot of demand for the ideal English language test is where you do the listening and reading and writing on computer, but the speaking test with a human being. I would say the greatest or the most important benefit of the IELTS on computer test is that the results are issued much, much faster. For IELTS on paper, the results are issued 13 days.
13 days.
Yeah, so
wow,
almost
that's
2
long.
weeks.
Yeah.
Whereas IELTS on computer, you get the results 3 days after. So if you take the test on Monday, you could get your results on the
But
by
do
the
you
end
have
of
a
Thursday.
limit, like how many tests you can take, like for instance, within a year? So you can take
If you
as
wanted,
many
you
as
could take tests every 4 days on
as long as
computer
you have
and
money
try and
as
improve.
well, right? There is a fee.
Yeah, of course. You have to pay the fee again for
Yeah.
each time. So that wouldn't be the smartest way to do it. But it can be very useful if you're applying, let's say, to a certain university, and the university has said this is the score that you need. If you're very close, maybe if you take the IELTS on computer, you get the results faster. You still might have another 1 or 2 weeks. If you needed, you could take the test again to try and improve your score.
刚才 Alex 有跟我们讲到了这个，就是说你在参加考试的时候，它有2种方式啊，就是非常的，我觉得非常实用的一些小窍门啊。他就说有一种是传统的，就是你有考卷的，你是真的是在纸上答题的。然后呢，因为最近这几年他们这个官方呢也听到很多的反馈，就是说希望说其实可以把这个就是听这个读还有写呢这3个部分呢，是不是可以在电脑上？所以现在还有一种方式，就是说这3个考项呢，你是通过电脑进行的，然后说呢，你还是得跟一个考官这个面对面的。但这个如果说你要选择用这个电脑方式去考试的话，它有个好处就是说呢，它这个成绩回来的特别快，然后3天你就可以知道成绩了。所以说，如果你要想申请学校，比方说这个成绩回来你觉得不太理想，还想再考一次的话，可能这个时间就比较好。那如果是传统的这个书面的考试，可能需要13天，差不多2周的时间。所以说这个也是给这个观众朋友呢来做一个参考啊。So now I want to ask you about tips. We always talk about tips.
Sure.
So if I need the score and I don't really have such a long time to prepare for it, so can I increase my scores, for instance, within a month? And what are the practical tips?
It's definitely possible to improve your score in a month, provided that you put in the work and the study. For example, we actually offer an online preparation course, which is very good and receives excellent feedback from students. And because it's online, the student can actually follow the classes at a schedule and time that suits them. So if they want to do 30 minutes on a Monday morning and then a few hours Monday evening and continue on the Tuesday or do all of it in a couple of days, that's totally possible. And this online course, it actually still has 3 practice speaking tests with an instructor or online, for example, over Zoom or a similar system. And the instructor will give the student feedback and tips based on those practice speaking tests. And in addition, it also includes around 10 written assignments where the students can submit written assignments and the instructor will review it and provide feedback and comments on how to improve the writing. So, that's just one example of how enrolling in a course like this, which is designed to be done easily in 1 month, could significantly improve the band score, probably by at least 1 band.
Oh, wow.
And if a student has more than 1 month, which would be ideal, let's say they've got 2 or 3 months, they can enroll in a more comprehensive course, which may have more material, and you can really improve the score maybe up to 2 bands or 2.5, which could be life-changing, really.
Yes, wow. 那刚才 Alex 也有跟我们分享了一下，就是说我们其实很多人可能想说，我也许没有太多的时间，我可能只有1个月的时间，那我要准备雅思考试，有哪些实用的小窍门呢？他刚才有提到说，那现在是有在线上提供这个教学的一个课程，就是帮助你。那其中呢，这个课程就是有全面的包含了这个4个方面，像是这个 个写作的这个方面呢，那你可以有这个10个小时的，而且这个课程是在线上的，大家可以随时在你需要的时间呢来去学习。那另外呢，这个课程其中有个特别好处，就是说我们有讲到你在雅思考试的时候，你说的这个部分必须要面对面见一个真正的考官的。那么这一套教材的话呢，它也是可以呢在线上给你提供，就是3个小时的，你可以跟像是通过 Zoom 或者是其他的一种方式呢，可以跟教官面对面的去做一个交流，那教官也会很及时给你一个反馈打分，那这样就是帮助你呢去提高。但他说，如果说呢你这是有超过1个月的时间，可能你有2-3个月的时间去做准备，那么还有提供一个就是更加的一个详细的、比较更复杂的一个培训的教程。大家呢如果说选择那种的话，有可能你的这个等级就是说他用了这个 band score， 就是有些可能你可以跳升1级或者是2级、3级，就是升1分这样子。所以可能呢，就是当然就是时间越久的话，可能你这个成绩，当然前提是你自己必须要努力。I think we're approaching the end of the show, so I just wanted to ask, if you have any other tips you would like to share with the audience.
I would say the best tip that I could offer is to set a realistic expectation and schedule for the preparation. When do you want to get your score? So think about, look ahead and to plan so that you have time to enroll in some sort of preparation course. You'll do much, much better if you spend even 1 or 2 weeks preparing and doing some practice tests and some practice speaking tests. And if you're in a course where you can practice, you'll definitely do much better on the day of the test than if you just kind of book the exam or book the test and don't do any preparation. So those are my final words, is allow some time to enroll in a preparation course because it really make a difference.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex.
Thank you.
好，那么最后呢，总结一下刚才 Alex 跟我们说的，他还是要提醒这个考生你还是要给自己准备一些时间。另外，他特别的建议大家呢，你最好是做一些这种练习的这个等于像是模拟考试题，可以帮助你在考试的那一天呢，可以取得一个非常好的一个成绩。So once again, thank you very much on our show, and I believe our audience really enjoyed the tips from you. 好，那么也非常感谢呢观众朋友呢收看我们这期节目。如果你有更多的希望了解更多相关的信息，也请给我们反馈。我们接下来也会呢做一些更具体的每一集的节目，针对不同的问题。好，非常感谢您的收看，我是吴瑾，我们下周节目见。